Have you ever sat through a matrimonial meeting and felt like you were auditioning for a role in a corporate biopic?
Oh, entirely. The biodata, the relatives firing off questions, the polite nodding. It completely flips the script from, do I like this person, to do they approve of me?
Right? You stop being a person and start becoming a candidate. But today, we are looking at how to completely shatter that mindset and actually become the chooser.
Okay, but let's be real. That pressure from family, the ticking clock, it's intense. A good enough match can look pretty tempting when everyone around you is giving advice.
Totally. We aren't ignoring those pressures. We're talking about carving out your own agency right inside them, starting with how people show up in those very first meetings.
Which are basically a performance, right? Everyone is bringing their A game, their best stories, their most agreeable opinions.
Exactly. So instead of hunting for some tiny flaw, you have to look at behavior not just as a trait, but as a strategy. Like when someone immediately starts using we and our after one phone call.
Wait, like talking about our future apartment or our first holiday? On the surface, that sounds super flattering and keen.
That's the trap. It creates instant, unearned intimacy. It rushes the timeline so that slowing down feels like a betrayal.
Oh, wow. It's a test to see if you can be swept along by momentum. So how do you tell the difference between genuine excitement and pressure?
It's all in the calibration. Do they talk about the possibility of a future, or do they plan it and place you in it without asking?
One invites you in, the other basically signs you up. I love that. And evaluation happens from the families too, which can feel like an outright financial audit.
Picture Karthik meeting a prospective family, and the mother is drilling him on annual turnover, savings rates, and investments under the guise of wanting her daughter to be comfortable.
Ooh, that's not a conversation about a partnership. That's qualifying a provider.
Spot on. A genuine inquiry would focus on how the couple plans to handle money together. But Karthik doesn't have to fight them. He can validate their concern and gently steer financial details to where they belong between him and his partner later on.
That is such a smooth move. But honestly, the best tests of character don't happen in formal sit-downs. They happen on an ordinary Tuesday when things go wrong.
Enter Sunita, a nurse working rotating shifts whose patient has a sudden emergency right before a date with Girish.
And Girish's response is everything. Does he text back saying, take your time, get home safe? Or does he text, I'm already at the restaurant, how long will you be?
Right. Response B isn't abusive, it's just irritated. It recenters the whole problem on his inconvenience.
Now, one irritated text isn't a total verdict. Maybe he had a rough day. But if it's a pattern, that's your data.
Data is the magic word here. And a positive response, that quiet, competent empathy on a difficult Tuesday, is gold.
So how do we dig deeper with our own questions, move past the biodata, and figure out their operating system?
Try asking this word for word. Tell me about a significant disagreement you had with someone you care about. How did you handle it?
Ooh, you aren't listening for who was right. You're listening for whether they can hold two realities at once.
Exactly. A red flag answer often sounds super reasonable, framing the disagreement as an error on the other person's part that needed the light of facts to correct.
Oh, that's subtle. They sound rational, but really they're just obsessed with being right. And what about how they talk about their family system?
That reveals your entire future boundary. If a prospect positions himself as a neutral mediator between his mother and his future wife,
he's promising a process, not a partnership. He's avoiding taking a position as a primary unit with his wife.
Hit the nail on the head. Feeling like a chooser means you have to act like one. Stop being passive and ask a question that has nothing to do with biodata.
Like, what is something you've gotten better at over the last 5 years? Or what does a truly relaxing day look like?
And if they brush it off with a why so serious, boom, more data.
You tried to open a door and they chose to close it. You get to decide if a lifetime of closed doors is what you want. Because you aren't just there to be evaluated. You're here to evaluate, understand, and ultimately to choose.